we've got 4 different episodes coming out, all relatable to direct bookings. What is direct booking? Who are your top 5 direct booking guests? Pros and cons of direct booking. How do you get direct bookings? So a full exciting series of direct bookings, something that YouTube has never shown before. Maybe a lot of people, if you're starting a short-term rental, I know experienced people, they all get confused about direct booking. Now, the good news is I want to explain to you how this is going to work. We've got 4 different episodes coming out in the next 4 days or next few days, all relatable to direct bookings. We've got different topics. Today's video is what is direct booking, because a lot of time I feel like people go, oh, I've started an Airbnb business, and all of a sudden they've been introduced to the world of direct bookings, but they really don't understand what direct booking is, what's the benefits, what's the pros and cons. So next few weeks, we're going to make sure that you are fully educated around direct bookings. Look, if you're new to this channel, my name is Piers from GrowYourBnb.com. We've worked with over 1,900 properties all over the world, helping them build a brand, helping them be seen as for direct booking. And as a result of that, some really crazy results been happening for some of our clients in the last few days, which I'm going to share as well. So in day 2 episode, we're going to talk about who your 5 direct booking guests are, because a lot of time, again, if you're talking about direct booking, you don't know who your guests are, then you're going to end up doing a marketing for everyone, which isn't the case. If you're looking for direct booking, you need to understand who your guests are, who your top 5 guest behaviors are, where do they like to book, how do they like to book, and that's something that I'm going to cover in episode number 2. Now on episode number 3, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of direct bookings, because sometimes I feel like, look, I've worked with many clients all over the world now, and we get them the first direct booking. The next message I get from them is, Piers, I've got this booking now, what do I do? So there's always pros and cons behind it, system, operational, and I'm going to cover all of that, and hopefully that will give you an education around what are the pros and cons of direct bookings and what you need to be prepared with. And the last one is everyone's favorite questions. I've been asked probably 10,000 times, how do I get direct bookings? And in that episode, which is episode number 4, we're going to talk about how you get direct booking, how you can start maintaining that direct booking strategy, and eventually save a lot of commission, build a brand that you're going to flourish. Today's video on direct booking. So what is direct booking? Direct booking is basically when a customer, a guest, would actually book you directly as a brand, instead of going into your online travel agents such as Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO, Expedia, Hotels.com. Now there's loads of online travel agency, right? But what direct booking guests do is they actually go and find you as a brand. Now you can see why in this 4 episode, in this series, I'm going to talk a lot about brand, because if you don't have a brand, you will never get a direct booking. Now also in this case, there is no middleman. Look, how I look as an online travel agent is a middleman who actually is a middleman between a guest, so your potential customer, and your property or your business or your brand, because what they're doing is they're effectively been advertising all your property in middle, and the guest goes there, finds your properties, you're obviously the owner of that property, and you then get the booking. So effectively you don't need a middleman, effectively you then advertise your own properties online. Now don't get me wrong, Airbnb, Booking.com, which probably are the largest platform right now in the world, they have made it easier for a lot of operators around the world. But the thing is, do you let them control your bookings throughout the year? Or do you want to control your booking yourself? That is the next thing we're going to cover. Now, as a part of direct booking, look, you will have more money in your pocket, but it also means that you will need to put a lot of work to build this brand. Look, you and I, we're probably used Google every day, right? You probably after or before you've watched this video, you are going to do some searches on Google based on your behavior and whatever you're going to buy. And that's exactly what our guests do. And today's video is for you to sit down and start thinking, what is direct booking? Where can people find you? What are the platforms you can make, you can effectively use as a direct booking? Now, a funny story, probably about just before COVID, I was always been asked, because I used to promote direct booking since 2018, And a lot of people used to always go to me, oh, Piers, like, we don't need to worry about branding because look at Airbnb and Booking.com, everything was great. Obviously, what happened in 2020, we had calendars shut, right? So effectively, Airbnb and Booking.com blocked their calendar so nobody can go and book. What happened then? Everyone who had already invested in their brand or had a strategy behind getting their direct bookings were the companies who actually went through pretty much 2020 without no problem, because they didn't have to worry about relying on the online travel platform. So effectively, this is where, I did a Google My Business free download. You probably go back into some of my posts on Facebook if you follow me. I did that post 2018, and a lot of people, we had over 300 downloads, and that was purely to educate people why finding yourself online without relying on OTA is so important. And look, today's video, I want to talk now about benefits and why is it so important for you to start looking at direct booking opportunities every day for your business. Now, before we start, let's talk about who's involved in direct bookings. There's a lot of major things, a lot of people forget that. You have a property, which is your product or your service. You then will have to have a brand, which then people can relate to, because a lot of time people go, well, I can get a direct booking, but effectively what you're saying is people will only call you for your property. If that's the case, that is wrong, because what you're doing is you're ending up people seeing you as a property only. What generally should happen in this case, in this transaction, is they should call you as going, hey, is it XXX service accommodation or short-term rental company? Hey, yes it is. Look, we're looking to book for X amount of people. Do you have any properties? Now, what you've done there is your brands come first rather than your property, because they haven't seen your property yet. They've told you the requirement. They need this, they need that. They say, then do you have any properties? What a place to be, because now you've got a lead. Maybe you can fulfill it because you've got all the properties available. You might not have the lead, but you might not have the property, but you've now got a lead that you can now work with. Either work with somebody within your investment area and actually work with them to earn yourself a little bit of commission. And then the last one is obviously the guest who's involved in this transaction, or your potential guest who are looking to book. Regardless, look, you might not be able to serve, they are going to book somewhere else. So because the leads already come to you, you have now got control of making yourself commission, because you've got that direct booking lead. Second, you're solving a problem for a guest, because you might turn around and say, hey, leave this with me, let me have a look. If you can't do it, you've got several contacts in the investment area and you can solve a problem for the guest. Well, if you haven't watched this recent video of Ryan, a client interview, probably launched about 2 weeks ago in my channel, we actually sat down and worked with his first property. Now, when we worked with his first property, I worked with him to build his brand, and secondly, to get him those direct booking, right? The market placement for him to get those direct booking. He just launched a new property while he was setting up, used all our technique. We showed him exactly what to do, build a brand so people can find him online. And today he's landed a £30,000 worth of direct booking. And that's something that I'm going to share on that screen right now. And this is why I say to people, look, there's people, which is guest, there's product or service, which is your property, and then there is your brand. If you can get the branding right in this direct booking process, you're automatically now getting those leads come to you. Well, without further ado, let's talk some benefits of direct booking. So firstly, I always think about saving commission. That is probably one of the biggest things a lot of operators forget. When you're building a brand, effectively at the end of that building a brand, as well as being seen online for direct bookings, you're effectively now saving a lot of commission. In our case, we work with clients with monthly bookings. Most of our clients are looking to attract longer term stays. Now, in those kind of listings, you are effectively anywhere giving Airbnb and Booking.com from £300 all the way to £600 off your commission or your earnings, because obviously they've given you the guest. Amazing, because obviously you've now also on top of that made, look, our pricing strategy is a bit different. We're always trying to track clients a certain, £800 to £1,000 net profit, and we're always working based on all the commission paid. Our clients would still make that. However, it'd be great if you can even make that extra, £300-400 into the business itself. So the first thing you're going to do with the benefit of building a brand, building a direct booking system, is you are going to save a massive commission. Now, also looking at further opportunities, which is based on slightly legal / operational, you have more control on your cancellation and refund policies, because a lot of time, look, if you're an experienced operator, if you've dealt with Airbnb and Booking.com customer services, a lot of time they always help the actual guest, which means if there's something wrong and there's a refund or cancellation to happen in that actual reservation, based on 90% off applications and problems before, again, if you're an operator who's already used those OTAs, they are always looking after the guest. As a result of that, your cancellation and refund are a lot more, you just don't have control on it, whereas on direct booking, because it's your direct booking and nobody's involved, it's your business rules, you've got much more better control on those. Also, let's talk about some customized pricing, which means, look, if you're setting a pricing strategy online on OTAs and stuff, there's not a lot you can, obviously you're not there all the time to play around with the pricing, and you won't be able to do so, which effectively means whatever you put out there is what people will see and they have to agree to book. What I find with direct booking is you're going to have a great conversation with clients, be through a lead that comes through your website or a platform that you're using or Google, but also secondly, once you're having that conversation, we've got a system in place that we normally go through. You're effectively now being able to understand and customize your pricing based on your profit that you want to make on that unit. That itself is a lot more flexibility for you to achieve those direct bookings. And finally, flexible payment system. A lot of time you'll find, the screenshot you've seen earlier from Ryan, a lot of time what you're going to find is people who wants to book long term, let's say they've wanted to book you for 6 months for £30,000. The chances are they're not going to pay you £30,000 straight away. Now, if they wanted to book through OTA, obviously they've got to book you for a month, you pay the commission, and sometimes it's great that they then renew it on a monthly basis. Whereas with flexible payment system that you're going to get with direct booking, you might be able to achieve 2 months up front and then say to them, look, we'll then do a monthly. What that's going to help you is the cash flow in the business, because effectively, if you've now achieved 2 months payment all of a sudden, not only you've secured that 6 months straight away, you've got an extra cash flow that you can now repeatedly invest in the business, be that you're going to go and get another unit. So a lot more control from that perspective too. And the last point here is the brand awareness and loyalty. I've genuinely felt that as you're building your direct booking system, as well as people seeing you as a brand, you're definitely, obviously in a simple note, let's say you've gone and asked them for Google reviews. You can have 50, I've seen accounts with people on Airbnb with over 1,000 reviews. You then look at their company and all of a sudden they've only got like 3 Google reviews. What they're doing is that those thousands customer that's obviously stayed with them, actually hosted in one of their properties, are so, because OTA's got their system of actually asking them for reviews, they're all going there to give reviews. Those are the customer that can be benefited by actually going online to your direct booking system and actually give you those reviews for the longevity of your brand. So, once you've got that, the loyalty, people who actually wants to book you based on the review they've seen online, is going to be a lot better too. So look, this series was all about talking about what direct booking is. I hope you get that a little bit a better understanding. In coming days, I'm going to talk about how do you get direct booking. I'm going to talk about also the pros and the cons, because I also feel like if you don't have a good system, you're going to get a lot of problem. And also in the next series, I really want to sit down and talk about the top 5 guests who are going to book you through the direct booking platforms that you guys are building through your brand. So look, I can only tell you one thing here. Building a direct booking system and a strategy is quite complicated. It's not as what you see online when people go, hey, go and get yourself direct booking. If I had to ask you a question, and comment down below, this year, 2022, how many direct bookings have you had so far? And look, it's all about letting me know so that I know that those are the content that you guys want to see in my channel. This Netflix style series that I've done is purely based on educating people on direct booking, because the more direct bookings you get, the more savings you're going to make in your business, which means A, you're going to earn more. It's going to reflect on building a brand. That's my biggest thing, because look, you're not in this business for just today, tomorrow, because Airbnb and Booking.com is controlling your booking. You want to be in a position where you're sitting above 50% off direct booking, and don't get me wrong, utilize Airbnb and Booking.com for the rest of it. But if you're sitting around, 80% or even 90% on OTA booking and only 10% on direct, and that's also based on people extending, and you've not had a phone call for direct bookings, then that is a problem in your business. So in this video, hopefully you understood what the benefit is, what the direct booking system is actually, and how it's going to benefit you long term. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this first series of direct booking. I really enjoyed writing them, also thinking about how this is going to help you and many operators around the world to start thinking about your brand, your business, and hopefully a business that you're going to flourish. So look, I'm going to see you in the next video where we're going to talk about the 5 top guests for direct bookings.